Namaste, yogis. Thank you so much for joining me here on your mats today. Today's practice is going to be a grounding Hatha Flow, and we will also be working on strengthening and stretching through the hip muscles. I love to include hip stretches as well as twists in my grounding practices because usually as you stretch and strengthen and open through the hips, you're sinking the hips down and rooting them closer down to the ground, henceforth grounding down through your root chakra. This will be a 30-minute yoga flow. However, if you would like the full 60-minute studio-style yoga class, I will have it linked down below in the description on my website. As you can see, we are outside today in the foothills of the Catalina Mountains. And in honor of the mountains, let's go ahead and get started in mountain pose. So begin standing at the back of your mat with your feet hip-width distance apart. You can rest the arms comfortably by your sides, shining the palms forward, letting the shoulder blades draw down your back, lifting the chest high, standing up nice and tall, keeping the chin tucked, and maybe closing down your eyes. Beginning to ground down into the soles of your feet here, really rooting down. And as you stand here, maybe complete a full body scan, starting at the toes, working your way through the ankles, the calves, the knees, the thighs and the hips, the torso, the back, the shoulders and the arms, the wrists and the fingers, the neck and the jaw, and the face. How is the body feeling today? Really taking a conscious moment here to arrive on your mat and arrive into your body. Just notice what it feels like to be in your body right now. As you ground into the body, begin to ground into the breath, beginning to deepen each breath. With every inhale, standing a little bit taller, and with every exhale, rooting down through the feet. On your next inhale, gently begin to blink the eyes back open, coming back to your body. Then bring both hands to your hips. I want you to take a large step forward with the right foot, bringing the right foot to the middle of your mat. Then begin to lift the left heel up off of the mat as you begin to hinge forward, lowering the hands down onto the shins or down to frame the foot, finding a modified pyramid stretch. So gently beginning to wake up through the hamstrings, letting the tension release off the shoulders here, and finding 5 deep breaths in this pose. On your next inhale, gently begin to step that left foot forward, coming to a forward fold in the center of your mat. On your next inhale, slowly begin to roll all the way up to standing. Hands come to your hips. Then take that giant step forward with the left foot, bringing the left foot to the top of your mat, beginning to tune in to how you're feeling as you begin to move into your body. Be sure to draw that right hip forward before hinging forward, lowering the hands down to the shins or down to frame the foot, keeping that right heel lifted in a modified pyramid stretch. Taking 5 deep breaths in this pose. I might be saying that a lot today. Your next inhale, gently step that right foot forward, coming to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands come to the shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift all the way up, reaching the arms up and overhead. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands come to the shins. And exhale, plant the hands. This time step the left toes back. Keep the knee lifted this time, finding your runner's lunge. So keeping the hands down to frame the foot, either down on your palms, on your fingertips, or I like to make fists here and press my knuckles down onto the floor. Or if you need a little bit more room to breathe, you can always bring the hands up onto your thigh here. So finding whatever variation works best for you. Inhaling here. And on your next exhale, go ahead and release the hands down to frame the foot. And step the left foot back forward, coming back to your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. This time plant the hands and step the right toes back, keeping the left knee stacked over the left ankle. Hands down to frame the foot, or bring the hands to the thigh if that's easier to breathe. Make sure both feet landed in 2 separate lanes. The legs are engaged to keep your balance. And exhale, release the hands down to frame the foot. And step that foot back to the top of your mat, finding your forward fold. This time, inhale, slowly roll all the way up to standing, placing the hands by your sides, finding your mountain pose. You can either keep the feet hip width distance apart, or you can step the big toes to touch, heels apart, as we move into a chair pose. So inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, and exhale, sit the hips down and back, finding your chair pose, sinking the weight back into your heels, maybe lifting all 10 toes and making sure that you can still see your big toes over your knees. Finding strength here, 5 deep breaths. On your next inhale, begin to lift back up, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, bring your hands to your shins. Exhale, fold forward. This time plant the hands and step the left foot back, keeping the right knee stacked over the right ankle. And this time sweep the arms up and overhead, finding your full high lunge. Centering the hips here, pulling that left hip forward so it's aligned with the right. Making sure that that knee is not splaying out to one side or the other. It's keeping stacked on top of the knee. On your next exhale, release the hands down to frame the foot, and step that left foot back to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, slowly roll all the way up to standing, placing your feet however you would like for your chair pose, and reaching the arms up and overhead. Inhale. Exhale, sit the hips down and back, chair pose. Finding your deep breaths, even in this challenging posture. Inhale to rise tall. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands come to your shins. Exhale, release the hands down to frame the foot. Step the right foot back this time. Keep the left knee stacked over the left ankle. Finding your high lunge on the second side. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Finding stability in the lower body here. Imagining that you can scissor your feet together on your mat. Engaging through the inner thighs. And on your next exhale, release both hands down to frame the foot and step the right foot back to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, bring the hands to the shins. Exhale, release. Inhale, roll all the way up to standing, reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, sit your hips down and back into your chair pose. Either find 5 deep breaths here in center, or find 2 deep breaths on each side. So inhale, reach fingertips up and overhead. Exhale, twist to the right. Right hand comes back, left hand comes forward. Inhale here. Exhale out. Inhale here. Exhale out. And inhale, lift both arms back through center. Exhale, sweep it to the second side. Left arm goes behind you, right arm extends out front. 2 deep breaths here. And inhale, everybody lift back through center, rise up tall. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly make your way up to standing. And turn to face the long edge of your mat, stepping your feet about 1 leg's distance apart, finding a wide-legged stance. And you can angle the toes in, heels out. Bring your hands to your hips as you slowly begin to hinge at the hips, bringing the hands down either to the shins or down onto the mat beneath you. Letting the neck go here, not trying to hold on to any unnecessary tension. Allowing the feet to really ground you down into the mat beneath you, the earth beneath you. You can either hang out here, take in 5 deep breaths, or you can keep one hand down on the mat and reach the other hand up towards the ceiling or the sky. If your hand is on your calf, that is okay too, or on your thigh, just finding whatever twist works for you. Exhale, release it back through center, and switch sides. Again, making this twist comfortable for your body, taking your own variation. On your next exhale, go ahead and lower both hands back down, either to the shins or to the mat. And take 5 deep breaths here. Bring your hands to your hips, and on your next inhale, begin to hinge all the way up to standing, wide legs. And turn your toes to face the long edge of your mat. So the outside edges of your feet are parallel to the top and bottom of your mat. Then from here, turn your front toes to face the front of your mat. So intersecting that front heel with that back arch, bending into that front knee so that the knee stacks over the ankle. It's not swaying out to one side or pushing forward. Lifting through the arms, engaging through the shoulders, all the way down the arms through the fingertips, keeping the arms lifted. Finding 5 deep and strong breaths here in your warrior 2. On your next exhale, go ahead and let that front forearm fall to the front thigh, coming into extended side angle, sweeping that back arm up and overhead. You can always lower the front fingertips down on the inside of the ankle, as long as you can still take a deep breath and that this doesn't collapse your chest. So if you need to keep the forearm on the thigh, go ahead and do so, taking 5 deep breaths here. And on your next inhale, begin to sweep that front arm up and overhead, reversing your warrior, and straighten through that front knee. So you're actually reversing your triangle. Finding a nice deep stretch here. And exhale, release, arms back parallel to your mat. Inhale, reach the fingertips forward, and exhale, lower those front fingertips down to that front shin. Stacking the shoulders on top of one another, keeping the chest open. Finding your triangle pose. And again, same thing with extended side angle. If you can lower the hand down farther, feel free. But I like to focus on keeping the chest open and breathing deeply. And exhale, and finding your variation of a forward fold. Maybe that's with feet hip-width distance apart, or maybe you've stepped those feet back out wide, one leg's distance, and forward fold. And if you had your feet hip-width distance apart, go ahead and step them back out wide. And we'll move through that sequence on the second side. So same front and back rules apply, just switching sides. So on your next inhale, bring your hands to your hips and hinge all the way up to standing. Double check, make sure your feet are pointing the long edge of your mat. And then turn the back toes to face the back of your mat. Begin to bend into the back knee. Finding your warrior two, second side. Make sure the left knee is pressing out, stacking on top of the ankle. You're not letting it collapse in. Shoulders are lifted and engaged. And on your next exhale, go ahead and release that back forearm down to the back thigh and reach that front arm up and overhead. On your next inhale, begin to lift yourself back up, sweeping that back arm up and overhead, reversing your triangle by straightening through that back knee. And exhale, bring it back through center, arms parallel. Then inhale, reach those back fingertips back and lower the fingertips down onto the back shin. Finding your triangle pose, shoulders stacked on top of one another. Exhale, release. And from here, just bring your hands to your hips and begin to walk the feet together, coming to standing at the top of your mat. And inhale, sweep both arms up and overhead. And exhale, forward fold. You can either hang out here, grabbing onto opposite elbows, or if you want to deepen the stretch a little bit, you can bend into your knees so that you can tuck your hands underneath the feet, pressing the toes down into the backs of the palms, pressing them down into the mat. Maybe gradually straightening through the legs, finding your stretch. And gently release the gorilla fold, untucking the hands, and just grabbing onto opposite elbows and swaying from side to side. Go ahead and release the hold on your elbows and walk your feet out to the outer edges of your mat. You can angle the toes out, heels in, and bring your hands through heart center as you drop the hips down, bringing the elbows on the insides of the knees to press the knees wide, pressing the hands together, lifting the chest high, finding your malasana, yogi squat. And either hang out here, breathing into your hips, or you can add a twist. Right arm extends down, and the left arm reaches up, maybe tucking that left hand behind the right hip, finding a bind. And untuck that left hand, come back through center, prayer hands. And second side, left arm presses down into the knee, and you reach the right arm up and overhead. Maybe tucking the right hand behind the left hip, finding a bind. And slowly release it back through center. Both hands come to heart center. One more deep breath here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And release both hands back behind you and lower down into a seat. Moving slowly here, being mindful of your joints. Making your way to butterfly pose, so bring the soles of feet to touch, heels together, and lower the knees apart. Grabbing onto the ankles, rolling the shoulder blades down the back and lifting the chest high. Inhale, slowly begin to walk the hands back in. And make your way down onto your back, hugging both knees into your chest. Maybe rocking a bit from side to side. Tuning back into the body and all of its sensations. And keeping one hand on each knee, begin to draw the knees down towards the shoulders and bring your big toes to touch. So kind of like in a reclined child's pose. So wide-legged child's pose legs. So not quite happy baby. We're not trying to use that much activity and strength here. We're trying to wind down our practice. So just letting the knees relax gently down, letting gravity press into you here. Like a reverse child's pose. Taking your 5 deep breaths. In your next exhale, go ahead and release that left leg out long, keeping that right knee hugged in towards the chest. Finding your wind-removing pose. And then transitioning into your reclined spinal twist. So take that right knee across the body, shifting over onto that left hip. Extending the right arm out at your side, keeping the shoulder pressed firmly and grounded down into your mat. And you can either choose to keep the knee bent here and relax, or you can reach down with the left hand to see if you can grab onto the right toes or the foot, the outside of the foot, and extend the leg straight out at your side. So this is by no means required, taking whichever option feels the best for you today. Maybe trying that variation the next time you practice with me here. Inhale gently brings you back through center. Hug both knees in towards the chest, shifting from side to side. And then this time, keep the left knee hugged in, extend the right leg out long, and shift into your reclined spinal twist. So extend left knee over towards the right, rolling over onto that right hip, keeping the left shoulder grounded down into the mat as you twist, and either choosing to stay here or reaching down with the right hand to grab onto the left foot or big toe as you extend that left leg straight out at your side. Taking your deep breaths here in your pose. And the inhale slowly lifts you back up through center, hugging both knees back into your chest. This time taking your happy baby pose if you would like, or just taking that same relaxed, reclined child's pose, drawing the knees down towards the shoulders, big toes come to touch. Or you can reach down on the insides of the knees and grab onto the outside edges of the feet, pulling the feet up to stand on the ceiling like a happy baby. Just rocking a bit from side to side here. And wherever you are, go ahead and bring the soles of feet to touch and allow the feet to relax down onto the mat. Finding your reclined butterfly pose, our last pose of class today. Placing the hands down by your sides. Grounding back into your breath here. Beginning to find some stillness. You can either choose to stay here in reclined butterfly for your Shavasana variation today, or if you would like, you can extend the legs out long, finding your traditional Shavasana, resting the arms by your sides, getting any little wiggles or movements or adjustments out that you need to in order to come back to your stillness, ground back into your breath. And as you begin to settle in here, maybe do another body scan, tuning in with your body and its sensations now after our practice. Starting from the toes and working your way all the way up to the face. And as you move, try to relax each part of the body. So as you scan, relax. Scan, relax. Just noticing how you feel, not judging it, and then seeing if you can relax any more. Letting your whole body ground down into the mat and the earth beneath you. As you close down your eyes, keeping your awareness here in the present moment, grounded into your breath. The rise and fall of your chest here in Shavasana. Slowly begin to bring some movement back to the fingertips and to the toe tips. Maybe rotating through the wrists and the ankles here. And then reach both arms up and overhead, finding a full body stretch. Before you bend into both knees, and roll over onto one side. Slowly begin to press yourself back up, keeping the eyes closed, making your way into a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. Either placing the hands on the knees or bringing hands through heart center and taking 3 final grounding breaths as a class. In through the nose and out through the mouth. In 3, 2, 1. Inhale. And gently begin to tuck the chin and thank yourself for showing up here for your practice today, taking some time for self-care, self-love. Your body appreciates it, and your mind appreciates it greatly. I thank you all for choosing to practice with me here today. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. I hope you enjoyed today's class, and if you have any comments, questions, concerns, feel free to reach out to me either through email or via Instagram, and I'm happy to respond. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed today's flow up here in the mountains, and I hope to see you again in my next video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.